watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
It was a meeting of two cities when the Montego Bay Convention Center hosted cocktails in Kingston at the Spanish Court Hotel, Worthington. Business Access TV was there to share in the moment.
First and foremost, on behalf of the team, I want to say a heartfelt thank you for being here. You could have been at other places, you could have been at other events, you could have been at other functions, but you found the convention center team very well to join us. So thank you again. All right? And so to go into this, again, just welcome, a heartfelt welcome. The Montego Bay Convention Center team is here. We have gone around, we have spoken to a lot of persons, but tonight it's very special for us because so many familiar faces, so many partners, so many clients, returning clients, possible clients, and the list goes on. So again, you will not hear me enough to say thank you, because that's a word that from the convention center, it's a part of us, and we really take pride in showing appreciation. This evening is truly special for us, for it has been a long time coming. Kingston has been a long time coming. And, Montego Bay Convention Center, of course, we opened our doors in 2011 and to the events and meeting industry. And, but connecting with our friends and our partners in Kingston has always been on the top of our mind. Over the years, we have received substantial support from our clients in Kingston. Therefore, this event had to be in our cards. And of course, we have a large deck, but you're on top of that deck. And we know good things happen in Kingston. So like many other parishioners, we packed up everything and we headed into Kingston on the town bus yesterday. Some of the team came in, when was it? Monday. And they say, Aaron, the traffic. And I said, it can't be worse than Montego Bay. And we found ourselves here sitting in this room 5:30 because we've said there's not one partner that is standing in front of us now that is going to be here and not see a team member from the convention center representing. So again, team, thank you. Hopefully, any guest tonight, and this is not meant to mean anything, but any guest tonight that have never experienced the convention center, unfortunately, you're in the minority. But what we want you to do when you're in Montego Bay, please come and visit. Sit with us, have lunch. Let's tour you. Let's show you the technology. Let's show you what some of our partners in this room have done with us. We have transformed the convention center. And of course, there are many events. And one of the things that we had looked at is how we put all the assets, the available assets, through our vendors, through our partners, together to really make the convention center what it is. The purpose of the convention center was never a self-sustained entity. It's to really contribute to economic development. And what we're measured on is not only profitability, but our economic impact. And we've seen it, especially in Montego Bay. But one of the initiatives that we had is to bring Kingston a little bit to Montego Bay as well through our friends and partners that are here tonight. So the Montego Bay Convention Center represents opportunities, one for us to think differently and see possibilities for now and the future. The center firmly places Jamaica as a viable destination for meetings, conferences, exhibitions, and of course, a selection of certain sporting activity that relates to sport tourism. So while the honor is mine to welcome you, I always want to thank you for taking the time out in engaging with us. Think differently. That is what I want to drive in your thought process when it comes to the Montego Bay Convention Center. Let us work with the possibility. Let us make the possibilities become a reality. The sales and events team, they're here tonight. And I really want to identify the team members. I know when it comes to this part, they tend to just come together. And when I start to call the names, they're going to raise their hands and they're going to say who they are. And of course, we all know them. So leading the sales and events team is, of course, our director of sales and events, Miss Mavoy Smith. Of course, there's Mavoy. We do have the sales managers with us tonight. You do have Donald Thompson. Where's Donald? Donald? There he is. There he is. Thank you, Donald. And of course, you have Alexia. Thank you, Alexia. And there's one lady here that she's a blend of food and beverage and sales. We call her catering sales. That's Trishani. So food is always important. So Trishani, thank you again. Trishani Austin. Our senior events manager, Kyan Henton. Many of you know Kyan. Many of you have been exposed to Kyan. Spearheading the senior events. Thank you, Kyan. So again, we have one lady that keeps us together. She's Michelle Gordon. Michelle is really our executive assistant and of course sales administrator. Sometimes we're based on a property, based on an events, we're pulled left, right, and center. If it's not for Michelle Gordon, we term her MG, the acronym MG, we would be all over the place. So MG's responsibility is to keep us together, keep us focused, and also keep us well fed. Thank you. ASEAN, many of you heard from ASEAN, know ASEAN PR, marketing, sponsorship. What else? And he takes the beautiful pictures. So with your permission tonight, ladies and gentlemen, ASEAN will, of course, on social media. I'm still catching up with technology. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, InstaChat. I got that right? Just joking. Just joking. So again, that's a team that is here tonight. And they're out, and they're here, well represented. So, of course, Dr. Guntley, my second mother. Wave your hands for me, please. Thank you. John Woolcock, he heads up the events department for Jamaica Tourist Board. And of course, the Convention Center. We're now a part of the Ministry of Tourism. We're an agency under the Ministry of Tourism. John, very vital to our organization, very vital in terms of the partnership and to allow Jamaica to be recognized again, not only as leisure, but as meetings and conventions. Because really, the large groups that the Convention Center will and the future possibilities to bring into Jamaica, of course, will create that economic impact that we're pushing for Jamaica to recognize. Not only about profitability, but looking at economic impact, whether it be indirect or direct, to see how that trickles down for the entire geographic location to benefit. So again, that's a mandate and purpose of the Convention Center in partnership with our main sister agency, the Jamaica Tourist Board. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about home sweet home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
It's Season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your girl, Vivica Fox, and you are watching Business Access.
We're here at the Spanish Court Hotel, Worthington, for the Cocktails in Kingston. Why is it important for the Montego Bay Convention Center to have this event tonight?
It's very important to us because a few things that we have highlighted and wanted to bring forefront is that we recognize and appreciate our partners in Kingston, our clients in Kingston, our potential clients in Kingston. Of course, we do have these events just to mingle, just to share our thoughts process, not in terms of business, but just to get everyone inside a room. And of course, we just talk in a informal or formal environment, and we just get together. So that's really the purpose of our vendors, our partners, our agencies, from the ministries to our suppliers. We just get everyone in and show our appreciation.
You mentioned the Jamaica Tourist Board as one of your major partners. How has that relationship been?
It is excellent, and it is a relationship that has been in the making since our inception. The Tourist Board is very important to us. Jamaica Tourist Board, of course, is what we consider as our DMO, or Destination Marketing Organization, that assists the convention center in not only marketing the facility to any other destination that would willing to come offshore, especially the international destinations, but what they do as well is to market Jamaica and assist us in not only marketing as Sunsan and Sierra Leisure, but to ensure that Jamaica is seen as a meetings and events destination that can host large group in a first world facility.
And speaking of that first world facility, tell us a little bit about the Montego Bay Convention Center and what people can expect from the venue.
Montego Bay Convention Center, managed by SMG, a North American-based company that manages 85% of the public facilities in the world. Of course, First World, now we have a mandate to ensure that that First World facilities is represented here in Jamaica. And of course, Montego Bay Convention Center opened its door in 2011 to the events industry. And what we really do is to host events. I mean, regardless from your weddings to your largest expos, to your exhibition, to your conventions, to your sporting events, to your church events. So we're an all-inclusive package. We're a flexible facility. And what we do is to host any and every event. So that's basically what we do. And what to expect is our people we have a set of well-trained staff, and events is our core business. And what we did in the initial stage is to ensure that our team members, they're fully aware of all aspects of event management, certified and also recognized internationally. So what you will expect from the Montego Bay Convention Center is the highest level of technology, the best aesthetics theme, and the best management you can think of bringing your event from a thought process to reality. So that's what we're all about.
And finally, now that you're here in Kingston for this event, what kind of connections are you hoping to make at Cocktails in Kingston tonight?
Yes, we do have quite a few corporate partners in Kingston, but what we want to do is to bring Kingston to Montego Bay. You know, get Kingston to come to Montego Bay, see what the convention center is all about. So for potential clients that we do have, it's just to mingle, to invite them, just to, you know, a short presentation, show what we're about, and then of course to invite those potential clients down, and of course get them to know the convention center, come in, explore the property, do inspection, see the technology, see the staff, meet the people, meet the strength behind the asset, and then of course we go from there. So in a sense, it's really to have Kingston in Montego Bay, and of course to expand our business, which that's the whole intention.
The Montego Bay Convention Center opened its doors about 8 years ago. What have we seen from the convention center over the years?
Well, the convention center since 2011 to now 2019, we've done a little bit over 700 events. We've done a lot of weddings, we've done graduations, we've done car shows, we've done meetings, conventions. We're home to most of the major churches in Jamaica where they do their annual conventions with us. So we're home to the Jamaica Baptist, the United Open Bible, the Jehovah's Witnesses, you name it, we're home to them.
And as was mentioned, the Jamaica Tourist Board is a major partner with the Montego Bay Convention Center. How has that experience or how has that relationship been over the years?
Very positive. Having the convention center in Montego Bay means that we have the ability to go after larger groups that will support the hotels in the area. And without the convention center, you know, this was a void. So of course having a state-of-the-art facility in Montego Bay opens up a lot of opportunities for us. And we're seeing where MICE planners are really taking a very close look at the destination, whereas in the past they might have said, you know what, this group is a little bit too large for Jamaica or for Montego Bay. Now it's on the table. Now Jamaica is even more viable.
And can you comment on the impact this has had on the tourism industry over the years?
The Montego Bay Convention Center, as Karen Benjamin, our interim general manager, mentioned earlier, that our core function is basically to support the community. So our aim is to bring in, as John just mentioned, the larger groups to Jamaica, so it will impact the hotels. So we basically get heads in beds. You'll have the coconut man on the roadside being able to sell more jelly coconuts, the cane man, I mean the nightlife, so the Margaritaville's, the Pier 1s, you name it, so it's like a domino effect. So all partners involved will be able to get a piece of the pie.
And it's only been here since 2011, so can you comment on what impacts has been made to tourism before and now?
Well, again, as Mavoy just mentioned, it's all positive in the sense that we're getting more business, increased business, more visitor arrivals coming in. Conventions that would not have considered Jamaica, now they're looking at the destination, they're actually booking the destination. So again, it's very positive. We have become even more competitive in the marketplace.
How do you see the center being utilized in new ways to pull more visitors?
We are trying to focus more heavily on the sporting events. So as it is now, we host the NCAA, that's a basketball competition every November, and this competition is aired live on CBS. So not only Jamaicans get an opportunity to see what can happen at the convention center, but persons internationally will be able to see what we're doing, and they may think to say, okay, so I can bring a sporting event to Jamaica. So it's not just meetings and conventions, we're pretty much multifunctional, which is why in our different spaces at the convention center, there's nothing fixed. So whatever the event is, we can accommodate it. If it's a car show, we can do it. If it's basketball, we can do it. If it's taekwondo, we can do it. So you name it, we can do it.
And anything new from the tourist board that you can mention?
The Jamaica Tourist Board is always looking at new opportunities. We have a very strong team in the market, so we are pursuing a lot of new ventures. So it's going to be great for Jamaica moving forward. We're seeing it in our visitor arrivals. It continues to grow. And again, it's going from strength to strength, but we have a gem in MBCC, no question about it. And all of our partners, from the hotels, the DMCs, the attractions, it's all very good.
Your company has hosted several events at the Montego Bay Convention Center. Talk to us about the experience working with them.
It's an amazing experience working with the team there. One of the wonderful things about the convention center and the team is that level of engagement. They take on your project as if it's their own, and they're really involved from start to finish. And it's something that you really appreciate as a project manager and an event manager, because you want to be assured that all of the details of your event are taken care of. Usually you're planning an event from Kingston at the Montego Bay Convention Center, so having that level of oversight, that level of attention to detail is really very important to us. So it's something that we really appreciate. After a while they become your friends. It's really an amazing team there. So I'd recommend anyone to go to the convention center. And it's not just about the team, it's about the facilities, it's about the facilitation, it's about the accommodation of each and every request. So I can't say enough good things about them there.
And how important would you say a venue like this is for Jamaica?
Oh, absolutely, very important. I mean, Jamaica, as the general manager just said, Jamaica is more than just sea and sand. And it's very important that you have a facility that can accommodate local, nationally scaled, as well as regional and international events right here on our shores. It's an opportunity for various industries to be showcased, for us to stage events that have multi-tiered opportunities for varied groups. So for the hotel sector, the broader tourism sector, for other persons here in Jamaica, it really makes sense for you to have a facility like this in Jamaica. And I can only wish that they go from strength to strength in terms of the range of services that they offer that will ensure that we entice as many people here as possible to utilize the services and the facilities that are here.
Hi, I'm Peter Shakir from Event and Entertainment Services. We're an event management and planning company, and we do many events across the island and abroad as well. We also own Jamaica Bridal Expo, and this is my partner Joanne Paxton, and she'll talk to you a little bit about hosting Jamaica Bridal Expo at the Montego Bay Convention Center.
We've hosted the Jamaica Bridal Expo at the Montego Bay Convention Center for the past 6 years, and Jamaica Bridal Expo is at home at the Convention Center. Everything is positive about the venue, the grand ballroom, what you have the expo in, the conference room where we hold a conference on the first day of activities for the expo, and the staff at the Montego Bay Convention Center is absolutely amazing.
Thank you for tuning into our coverage of Cocktails in Kingston, hosted by the Montego Bay Convention Center. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our sustainable development goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I'm Danville Walker, Managing Director of Jamaica Observer Limited. You're watching Business Access TV. Stay tuned.
Hi there, welcome on board our journey through the pages of another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. Today we look at technology to improve farm hygiene, plus making water safe for drinking. Also, we'll shine the spotlight on sports development. Stick around for these and more right after this message.
Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old tires or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Jamaica's long-standing partnership with China has grown to include technical cooperation for sports development. Take a look at a recent partnership between the two countries.
The Jamaica-China Technical Cooperation Program is the largest bilateral sports agreement between the two countries. For each year of the 3-year China-funded program, 138 Jamaican athletes, managers and coaches from 7 sporting disciplines traveled to China for 2 months of intensive training.
So we have 3 teams in Yunnan province, that's in Kunming. Those are swimming, female basketball and female volleyball. In Yunnan province, we have synchronized swimming, gymnastics, badminton and female football.
One of the first stops that we made in China was to the Kunming Physical Training School, where we observed the volleyball, basketball and swimming teams in training.
They train twice per day, starting at, the day actually starts at 6 when they have breakfast. We arrive at the center by 8:30, where we do a 30-minute warm-up. They hit the pool by 9 o'clock. Training is normally completed by 11 once the sets are completed, and then we return to the hotel. They have lunch. There's a 1.5-hour nap time, and then we come back in the afternoon at 2:30, another half-an-hour session of warm-up, and then we go again at 3 until 5.
They take this training very serious, and we also see they have many improvements during all the training. But for one thing, that's the coach very appreciate that they follow coach instruction, and they try their best to get more improvement.
As you may know, China is ranked amongst the top 5. They have one of the top 5 best volleyball teams in the world. So coming here to train, we're training amongst the greats.
While here, we do a lot of repetition, and it really helps us getting better performance-wise. Where we're weak in terms of our strength, the gym work really helps, and when we go on court, it shows. So able to hit the bar harder, able to jump higher, just perform better.
They're really positive and they're serious with this training, and they like to learn.
The coach, he uses gestures while he speaks to us. So as volleyballers, we understand those gestures, and those who came last year will understand a little of the Chinese. Like counting from 1 to 4, we understand that, and other little things. Shababa means it's a very delicious food from where he comes from, the Yunnan province. And he said that after people eat it, they get very energized. And so we say it because we want to get energized on court so that we can perform our best. We usually say it before, like when we're cheering before our match or when we win a point.
The basketball team was only a few meters away from the volleyball players. The team's training site, Kunming Physical Training School, is a high-altitude training base that pushes the cardiovascular and circulatory systems of athletes to optimal levels.
Breathing, like it's really hard here because of the altitude difference. So, the higher we go, less oxygen there is or air. So when we go on track or even in here, indoors, when we're running, it's really hard to catch our breath or to even breathe normally. Some people, we have, I think, 4 athletes that have asthma, so it's extra hard for them, but they manage. In 2 weeks or 3 weeks, everyone adjusts and we're okay.
And on Monday, we do a little bit of skill training and core exercise after the skill training. The core exercise is abs basically, to improve your strength, jumping, running, all of those aspects. The biggest improvement is the fitness level and the skills. dribbling the ball, floor spacing, setting pick, setting off the ball screen, and just learning to play as a team.
And there are even more benefits to be derived from the athletes' daily encounter with their Chinese coaches.
They're very disciplined. They teach us life skills about respecting time, all of those things. They're very, very disciplined, and it's good training, life skills for us.
Wait until you hear about the other athletes we're visiting in the city of Changsha.
Being here has really been an amazing opportunity. Working with the Chinese coaches, they've really been helping us learn new techniques, and it's been really new. Some of their techniques are different, but I realized that they really do help the girls improve.
The girls that I have here is from age 6 to 13. Elisa is my youngest. Her name is Elisa Alexander Black. She came up here, she's very strong, but she gets in stronger. So if you like put her into a present stand, she can stay up into a present stand as long as for 1 minute and go back down, but she's very strong for her age.
Like Elisa, another gymnast that has grown in strength and performance is young Shakoy Bennett, the only male gymnast on the team this year.
I've gotten some skills, some high-level skills that I would need to be able to put in a routine to be able to compete. So yeah, that's, I would say, is one of the biggest achievements I have so far. My objective is to go to the Olympics, possibly the Olympics and the World Champs, possibly medaling.
But training wasn't the only activity on the gymnast's daily agenda. The team also showcased the dynamic dance routines they have been learning. Their performance was well received.
Hi, I'm Kayla, the captain of the female football team here in China. Ni hao. In terms of the training, some of the things that we do here you don't really see in Jamaica, so you pick up a lot of new things that you can bring back home and teach your teammates, your coaches, your friends. Every drill that they do right here, they focus on defending. They put in both attacking and defending. So if you look at them playing right now, how they set out, the coach incorporate all of those stuff in it. In Jamaica we do drills like this, but you don't really think there are so many drills, but like this one thing until you come here.
This is an awesome initiative, and I think that it can only be better for the nation, for the girls to come to a place like China to enhance their talents. I believe that the girls want to be that next reggae international girl, and so this year it has really pushed the girls to work even harder, and you can see in training where they are constantly reminding each other to stay focused.
So there's only one more team to visit, and this team happens to be the largest group in the delegation. Can you guess what that is? Badminton.
Our delegation consisted of 28 persons, of which 23 junior players, 1 player coach, a liaison officer, and myself, the team manager.
Well, last year we mainly focused on the physical aspect of our body, and this year we mainly focused on the technical aspect and the tactical, which meaning that we focus mostly on the fingers, the arm actions. And in Jamaica we play European style of badminton, while here we play Asian style of badminton.
Biggest thing that surprised me was probably their playing style. When I was in Jamaica, we're taught to use the wrist more, and then now we're taught to use the fingers to play. And it has really helped in my game, play much easier and more comfortable now.
It would be remiss of me not to extend on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, and especially on behalf of my minister, the Honorable Olivia Grange, the appreciation or gratitude to the government and people of the People's Republic of China for this wonderful program.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean. Cause it's so easy for germs multiply. You better wash your hands, it can save your own life. Wash your hand them clean, nobody spread no disease now. Hand washing is key.
A message from the Ministry of Health and PAHO.
Proper hygiene is important to safeguarding and maintaining good health. This is especially important for all food producers. Take a look.
Based on laws imposed by the United States, Jamaican farmers are required to be certified under the Food Safety Modernization Act, as well as the Global Good Agricultural Practices Global GAP, if they want to export to that country. Given this development, the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, saw the need to introduce a hand wash station for farmers. It's part of the measures to assist local growers improve sanitation on their farms and fulfill one criteria for export certification.
The concept behind this is just a little bit different. Usually other hand wash stations will have a gravity-fed system, but what we done, we have incorporated a system that was here, that was developed here locally several years now, where we used the pump and spray that was introduced some time ago. Although it was introduced for the same concept in terms of showing and things like that, we have used the features of the pump and spray to add a little bit more dynamics to our presentation here, where you have a pressurized system. So that calls for a person's self. One person can actually wash their hands here without assistance from somebody else. So you'd go there without contaminating that water source that you have.
This hand wash station is not only affordable, it is also easy to assemble. All you need is an iron trolley, 3 oil kegs, a pump and spray instrument, and some PVC pipes and fittings.
From there, at a local welder, we modify the trolley, and in a way that we could install the kegs. So here we have the trolley, and we weld the handles, so it would be able to hold the keg steadily. And this is a pump and spray that we can get locally. So how it works is that a farmer or anybody who is working in the field would come by the wash station. He would get some soap on his hand, okay, and he would pump. He would pump the system. The system, the pair would pressurize the bottle, and in return here will displace the water, and the water will comes up, and then the farmer would wash. After washing, the farmer wouldn't have to touch anything to contaminate his hands. He would just move over to the hand towel and dry his hands.
It was good. I enjoy doing it. It wasn't hard at all. It was just easy. Just put my foot and pump it. Water just come up, and I wash my hands.
The effects of not having a hand wash station, well, it's really more for safety as it relates to you, the farmer, because what RADA's mandate is also about is to educate farmers on best practices as it relates to agriculture, and the farmer's safety is a part of the best practices that we are trying to encourage out there.
The team also successfully designed a water pump made using a weed hacker, which can fill a 50-gallon drum in 5 minutes.
This waka can be used for more than one purpose. So a farmer can have a waka but need a water pump, cannot afford a water pump. Now what the farmer can do is just easily retrofit the waka and a pump, merge them together so that you can have a water pump and a waka. So at times, whenever the farmer needs a waka, we just remove the pump and put on the waka section.
Farming may be expensive, But through innovation, your basic equipment could be just what you need to ensure greater savings.
Did you know? The consequence of not exercising, consuming excessive sugars, trans fat, sodium and alcohol, and smoking is that sooner or later you will become seriously ill? These are known causes of non-communicable diseases, known to damage critical organs in the body, rendering them dysfunctional, leading to premature death. Avoid the unhealthy habits, treat your body right, eat well, exercise, and live longer, more productive lives.
Hygiene is an essential part of the health equation. Drinking untreated water can make you sick. So, water sourced from rain catchment, rivers, streams, springs, ponds, and wells has to undergo some level of purification and treatment before it is consumed. More on this next.
The human body cannot function without water. While you may live for up to 3 weeks without food, you cannot go more than a week without water. From breaking down the food we eat so the body can use it, to helping us heal when we get sick, water is needed for almost every process that takes place in the body. And although 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, drinking it directly from seas, rivers, wells, or aqueducts may make you sick. Untreated water contains bacteria and other germs, as well as chemicals that may be dangerous to the body. So in order to get the water from here to here safely, it has to be treated. Water treatment processes differ depending on the source. If the water is coming from a river, for example, here at the Negro River in St. Thomas, it usually goes through an extensive treatment process before reaching the pipe.
Here is where we do the first type of treatment in the form of sedimentation and screening. Behind me you can see where we screen the bigger stuff like the sticks, the stones and debris. Then we come down to the sediment where we separate the sand from the stones. And then this water will leave from St. Thomas and pipe into Kingston via pipeline into the Mona Reservoir.
The Mona Reservoir is the island's largest raw water storage facility and provides the liquid to over 30% of people living in Kingston and St. Andrew. If this is where you get your water, here is where the next step in the treatment process occurs.
Here in the reservoir, we allow for maximum levels of mixing, maximum levels of aeration, as can be done here at the facility. We also, at the reservoir, you allow for settling out of the silt and the suspended particles, dirt particles, that would otherwise be in the raw water. We then take the water from the reservoir and take it to the Mona treatment plant.
At the treatment plant, chemicals are added to further purify the water. Chlorine is first added to kill bacteria.
You have stages that include flocculation, where we actually add chemicals to the water that allow those microscopic dirt particles that are still in the water to be brought together in what we call flux, and then we are able to skim it off and remove it from the water.
The water is then passed through filters which contain layers of sand, gravel, charcoal, or synthetic materials that remove remaining small particles. The final stage is disinfection. Here, chlorine is added to kill any other bacteria or germ.
Ensuring that we have what we refer to as chlorine residual that goes with the water, so that as the water travels along the pipeline to our customers, should it come in contact with any germs along the way, there is enough chlorine residual in that water to destroy those germs and still be delivered to the customer in good quality.
The water is tested all throughout the treatment process to ensure that what you get in your pipe meets World Health Organization standards.
For several years running, the National Water Commission has won the best tasting water in the Caribbean. We have also been acknowledged by the various arms of the United Nations at different points in time as having one of the best quality water in the hemisphere.
That is definitely something we can drink to.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the four corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. You know, your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, you know, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
Dengue fever is a vector-borne disease carried by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. It is caused by the flavivirus and occurs in either a mild or severe form in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Globally, 50 to 100 million cases of dengue are seen yearly.
Dengue is endemic to Jamaica, meaning that since its introduction in 1977, we have cases that occur every year. The cases of dengue fever, including severe dengue, can occur at any time throughout the year. An outbreak is declared when the number of cases increase above the usual that is expected for that time of the year.
Dengue is transmitted to humans by the bite of the infected female mosquito. Symptoms typically begin 3 to 14 days after someone gets infected with the virus. Symptoms can last from 2 to 7 days.
The incubation period is usually 4 to 10 days, and illness begins abruptly, and there are essentially 3 phases of the illness. First phase is where you have the fever. The second phase that you can go into is a critical phase, and then you have a recovery phase.
Over 70% of persons who contract the disease usually experience mild symptoms. Persons affected by the mild form of the disease may experience fever of 40 degrees Celsius or higher, headache, muscle pain, and bone and joint pain. Some people may also experience nausea, pain behind the eyes, swollen glands, vomiting, sore throat, rash, and diarrhea.
So you can see that it's a range of symptoms that can present, and therefore, when you initially present with dengue, it may be seen as different illnesses. It may be seen as gastroenteritis, it may be seen as an upper respiratory tract infection, or it can be seen as dengue fever.
To be on the safe side and put speculations aside, persons who start experiencing symptoms are advised to visit their health facility or doctor for medical advice and treatment. If indeed you have dengue, do not self-medicate with treatments that can worsen your illness or cause bleeding. So be sure to have a discussion about dengue with your doctor. The Health Ministry says doctors who recognize the presence of a fever should also have a high suspicion for dengue and treat with the necessary precautions. For mild cases of dengue, persons may treat themselves at home with specific types of over-the-counter medications, but heed the warning.
Fever and pain to the joints, pain to the muscles, must be treated with only medications that have cetamol, paracetamol, and Panadol. You can also use tepid sponging, fan therapy, and increased fluid to assist with decreasing the fever. Do not use medications that contain aspirin and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen and diclofenac. You must read your labels carefully. If you are unsure, consult your pharmacist or your doctor. before using the medication.
The drugs you should not take while experiencing dengue have been known to cause and/or worsen bleeding and increase the severity of the disease. Besides the mild form of dengue, persons can also experience a more severe form called dengue hemorrhagic fever, which is a rare complication of the illness that can lead to death. Usually the fever that comes with dengue lasts for about 5 days, and it is usually when the fever is going away that persons tend to worsen. Warning signs include persons not eating, experiencing persistent vomiting, lethargy, restlessness, shortness of breath, pain in the abdomen, or tenderness in the abdomen. Persons should also look out for signs of bleeding.
Those signs of bleeding can include bleeding from the gums, bleeding in the urine, it can be bleeding in the stool. Usually though, when you start getting bleeding in the stool, in the urine and stuff, you have reached a severe point.
It is important to note that a case of severe dengue can occur without symptoms of bleeding. Also, in a case of severe dengue, there may be difficulty in maintaining hemodynamics, in which a person's blood pressure tends to drop suddenly and circulation to vital organs is affected.
With dengue, fluid tends to seep from the blood vessels to the outside of the vessels, meaning that there is decreased blood flow to vital organs. And that is why you get the symptoms of lethargy and restlessness and pain in the abdomen. What those signs are signs of decreased perfusion to the brain. It means that enough fluid is not going to the brain because persons are dehydrated. Okay? The dehydration and the signs of dehydration are very important to treat.
Persons are warned to not wait for these signs and instead go to the doctor or hospital early. People with chronic illnesses such as sickle cell are at a greater risk of experiencing severe dengue. These individuals must use precaution when taking their medications.
If you have a chronic illness that you may be taking medications for and you think that there may be some interference with dengue, you must speak to your doctor to decide whether or not you should continue to take these medications.
In order to effectively combat and limit the spread of dengue and other mosquito-transmitted illnesses, persons must eliminate mosquito breeding sites in their surroundings. Breeding sites include old tires, laundry tanks, dish drainers, covered tanks or cisterns, drums and barrels, discarded buckets and containers. Other sources are pet dishes, construction blocks, bottles, discarded tin cans, tree holes and bamboo, bottle pieces on top of walls, old shoes and flower pots. Mosquitoes can also breed in discarded toys, roof guttering, bromeliad plants, garden containers and tools, brick holes and unmaintained wading or swimming pools. Where water is stored for use, the containers must be properly covered and sealed against mosquito entry. The use of mosquito repellents containing DEET and long-sleeved clothing are also recommended for personal protection. For more information, please contact the Ministry of Health, 10 to 16 Grenada Way, Kingston 5. Call them at 876-633-8172, 876-633-7771. Information is on the web at moh.gov.jm and contact can be made by email pr@moh.gov.jm or on social media.
We've come to the close of our program for today. We hope you found our program enlightening and ask that you do join us again tomorrow for more. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, jis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
for a real chill experience, having a glass of wine, some tasty food and good company in the right environment is definitely the way to go. On this episode of Chill Spot, we'll be hanging out at Uncorked with Valerie Grant, Managing Director at Geotech Vision. So don't go anywhere more after this. Hello ladies. Hi. Hi Valerie, Candy, nice to meet you.
Good morning, Anna Kay.
Hi Anna Kay, Candy. So we're here at Uncorked. First of all, this is your chill spot.
Yes, it is.
And this is your business. Tell me a little about Uncorked.
Uncorked started in 2011, beginning of 2011. We started as a small little wine and cheese retail business down on Hillcrest Avenue.
Okay.
And the business did well, and there was clearly a need for that kind of product. And really we've grown as our customers have sort of demanded that we grow. So we went from there, we came up here to Sovereign North, where we got further into the food business, and now we are a full-fledged wine and cheese restaurant. And we of course have our retail gift items and cheese and wine accessories. So we're a lot of different little things in one small space.
And what inspired you to start the business?
It started with a couple of friends and myself, and we just love the wine and cheese culture, the gourmet food culture. And we just thought that there was space in Jamaica for that. It's something that, you know, when we're lucky enough to travel, it's something that we ourselves look for. So we thought that there was probably a lot of Jamaicans that would be interested in this kind of product. What happens quite often is that if a customer comes here and they want something but it's a little different, we'll do it for them, and then they'll ask for it again. And then somebody will come and see it and they'll ask for it. That's why we have things called the Tin, you know, the Bev, the Judy, the Carla, the Max, you know. So
those are all named after your friends.
All named after the Uncorked customers.
Wow, the Max.
The Max, yeah.
So I'm going for my menu item soon, right?
Yeah.
So you have to come in and
soon we'll have a Valerie, that's for sure.
Name something after.
And Valerie, why did you choose here as your chill spot?
It's in a convenient location. It's close to my office. The persons here, the waitresses, they're able to anticipate my need. They know exactly where to seat me. They know what to bring me first. So it's just a great environment.
All right, well, I'm excited to try my first glass of wine here. So let's head inside.
Welcome to Uncorked. My name is Nakisha, and I'll be your server for today.
Thank you very
much.
Thank
you, Nakisha.
You're welcome.
Well, I must say I really like Uncorked so far. I'm feeling this ambience, like it feels good in here. Yes, and I'm looking forward to the food. All right, so let's talk about your professional life. So you're the managing director at Geotech Vision. What exactly is Geotech Vision?
Okay, well, Geotech Vision is ICT and geospatial technology company.
That all
And
sounds
that
very
sounds
complex.
technical, I know. So I'm going to explain what that is. So we provide location information for actionable intelligence. So for example, OnCork is located in this location. Right. Their customers come from somewhere. In order to better understand where their customers are coming from, we can do the analysis, we can understand where people chill, where they relax, and you can better target their needs. So we do that in the business space, we do that for governments in terms of planning, spatial technologies. So yes, it's not as complicated as it sounds, but pretty much we use location information to get persons to make wise decisions.
And you are the founder of
Yes.
this company.
Yes.
Congratulations on
Thank
that, because
you.
that in itself is a feat. Tell me about starting a company and what challenges you had to overcome.
So there have been many. Starting a company, it's first getting to understand what your market is like and understand how you are really going to service that market. I started Geotech Vision simply because I recognized that there was a gap in the market. There was no company that was offering a customized solution to customers. So while there were other GIS companies in the Caribbean, there was just none that would seek to understand the needs of the customers and not just sell them something out of a box.
Right.
So this is what we decided to do. So every solution that we provide to our customers, we first do a needs assessment and make sure that it's the right match.
And how long have you been doing it now? How long has the
Since
company been around?
2008.
2008?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
Are there any other places where you currently operate, or is Jamaica the only place?
Oh no, we are a Caribbean-wide company. So we operate in 15 different Caribbean countries and we have a second office in Georgetown, Guyana.
Oh wow. Yeah. What has been your biggest setback thus far?
There are two that jumps out at me, and one was 6 months after starting the company, I became ill. So it meant that all the resources that I had for growing the company was wiped out in terms of medical expenses.
Wow.
So that was our big, yeah.
And I assume you're better now?
Yes, much better. So that meant that we had to really grow at a slower pace than anticipated. But 6 months after the procedure, I was back in the Caribbean trying to build Geotech Vision. And then I would say the other one was something that happened about 2 years ago when we got the biggest contract that we've ever gotten. And our financial institution would have indicated that they were going to back the project. And then at last minute, they said that they needed collateral. As a small company, where was I going to get that? That was a major setback, but we navigated those waters and we were able to deliver the project on time and successfully.
Coming up, I know you've received several accolades since starting. Tell us about some of those.
The most recent one is the Commonwealth Woman Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations. I've said congratulations about 4 times since starting this interview.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
I know you've received several accolades since starting. Tell us about some of those.
Okay, so the most recent one is the Commonwealth Women Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations. I've said congratulations about 4 times since starting this interview.
Thanks a lot, Candy. Well, with that one, I now serve as a Commonwealth Businesswoman Ambassador until the next Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in 2017. Which means that as the ambassador, I'm really working with women entrepreneurs across the Commonwealth and trying to make sure that we see how we can help to focus on women entrepreneurs and help them to take their businesses to the next level. So that is something that I'm very excited about. And there is an initiative that I'm actually going to be launching in the next couple of months that speaks to that. It is a crowdfunding initiative that is going to be raising money for women entrepreneurs in the Caribbean, and we're targeting $1 million
wow.
for 50 entrepreneurs in at least 10 countries. So it's quite ambitious, but we're getting some corporate buy-in.
And I love that it's across the region as well. This is not just focused on Jamaica, which is awesome. Yes. It's an awesome initiative. How do you see the process of becoming an entrepreneur in Jamaica? Is it easier or is it more difficult to do so?
In Jamaica, we are building a very strong entrepreneurial ecosystem now. We have a lot more support. There's things like Startup Jamaica. There is the Technology Innovation Center. We were a part of the Technology Innovation Center, and for us that was fabulous in terms of support. So it gave us the needed platform to really launch out the needed support that was necessary to kind of hone our skills. We need to expose students to entrepreneurship because they can realize that it's not about just going to school and coming out, getting an education to get a job, but that they can actually create their own jobs. We're making the right steps in Jamaica. We just need to keep doing more of that and keep encouraging and engendering that spirit of entrepreneurship.
So did you always know that you wanted to become an entrepreneur?
I'm from a family that has entrepreneurial roots. So my mom was self-employed, my dad as well. And so I always knew that I wanted to have a business. But then after graduating from university, I was in private sector. And then being young and naive, I went over into public sector and just thought that I could make the world a difference. Right? When I realized that that wasn't happening, I figured there must have been another way for me to make the kind of contribution I was hoping to make. And then I recognized that there was this huge gap in the geospatial space. It was still relatively new in the Caribbean. And so I said, you know what, let's capitalize on it. So I looked at that opportunity and decided to make a business out of it.
Do you have any other professional pursuits at this time?
Yeah, well, I'm involved in other entrepreneurial activities as well. But apart from those activities, in terms of philanthropic pursuits, I tend to work a lot with students and universities, and that is where we really do the most of our giving back. We have donated software to the University of Technology. We have given scholarships to students in our discipline. So these are some of the things that we are involved in. Yeah.
What is it that drives you to succeed?
There are just a lot of things that are intrinsic motivation, right? I want to see our industry at a given place, and so I want to help to take it there. I want to be the game changer in this space, and so that in itself is a motivation. And to tell you the truth, there were times when it was hard to pay the bills each day for staff and so on, and you wondered whether or not it was just easier to go back and get a job. But as soon as I started having employees, then that wasn't an option anymore.
Right.
You have to support them or
Yes,
else.
you have to support them. And so that for me is something that is constantly in the back of my mind, my team. So I know that we cannot fail because of the type of team that we have. And there are just so many persons that are now relying on the company. So it has to succeed. So that in itself is a motivation.
I think one of the things that I want to know as well is how you manage doing so many different things. How do you balance it all?
I have a great team. I keep saying it. They are so supportive. I don't have to be in the office for a task to get done. And the way I travel, I'm really hardly ever in the office. But I have a good team, and I try to practice some good time management. I also don't have 8-hour days. I have very long days, so that is something else. Keeping the balance is a constant struggle. It's something that I continuously work on.
What would you say are your aspirations for the future, having already accomplished so much?
You know, we are going to continue to push the envelope. So our aspirations involve a lot of applications that are going to not only meet our B2B customers, but the man on the street. So that is something that we're working on. And we are going to also be going after a bigger market share, both in terms of customer segments and in terms of geographic location. So we are going in Latin America, we are also going in Canada, so you can look out for us in other spaces, even outside of the Caribbean region. So that is something that is definitely on the card and is a part of our strategic plan.
Okay, and as a woman in business, what is your strategy for success? Because sometimes it can be so hard.
It can. So I tell myself that I recognize that, you know, having the right team, having the right qualifications does not always cut it. You still have to work harder to get through the door. So I normally give 150%, but usually when we get that client, they become clients for life because they recognize the kind of unique customer experience and solution that they receive from us. So we have to work hard. And yes, I'm a woman in business, but I don't let that bog me down. I don't let it think, oh yes, I think as myself as a person in business. And so because of that, anything that my male counterparts can do, I don't shy away from it.
Right.
I'm up to the task.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I must say, Valerie, that was a very informative talk. I learned so much about you and your industry. And that being said, I think I'm ready to eat because it's lunchtime.
So am I.
Coming up.
And what are some of your other hobbies or interests now?
I'm a badminton person, so when I get the chance, I go knock the shuttles. And I was very pleased that West Indies won the match, so I'm a cricket fan as well.
Can you do the champion dance?
No.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So
I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
So how was your lunch? Excellent. Yes, I really enjoyed my pasta as well. But now we're going to talk about the personal side of you. Were you born and raised in Kingston? No, I'm a country girl. I'm from Hanover. Hanover? Yeah. So when did you move to Kingston? When I came to university. So do you have any brothers and sisters? I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Okay, and you are the 5th child? The 5th child, okay. Yes, yes. All right, so tell me about your childhood. I grew up around my 3 brothers mostly. Well, 2 because one of my brothers is younger than I am, and I used to do all of the tomboy stuff. So I play football because I was really just not allowed to go out in the village and play with everybody else. So we did things together as a family. So we're from a very loving family. We monkey around. We just do crazy things all the time, and we still do when we get together. And what about your sisters? So my sisters, they were a bit older than I am. We are very close, but they were already gone off to college, so I didn't have a lot of time to play with them and so on. But they have been a strong influence on my life as well. So yeah, they're always somebody who I can really count on for advice, to be there for me. And especially after the death of our mom, that bond has even strengthened, been stronger. And what about your schooling? Where did you go to school in Hanover before you came to Kingston? So I went to the Riverside All-Age School, and then I went to Received High School. Okay. So I'm a Russian as we say. And at Received, my experience was excellent. I was a prefect there. I was very involved in school activities, and that really gave me a great foundation. You seem like such a scholar, like one of the bright children in the class at school. Is that how you were in high school? In a way, yes, but I'm not one of those persons who is a bookworm. No, I'm outside all the time. I'm playing football. Received is noted for football, and I had my share of playing football. Even at university, I was on the University of West Indies football team. Really? I debate, I'm in speech and drama, I'm in everything, to the point where my sisters used to tell my mother that I'm gonna fail everything because I'm not focusing. But that's how I get through stuff. I just have to be very involved. So if I learn it in the class, then great, let me do something else. Right. Yeah. Tell us about your husband. How long have you been married now? 3 years, going to 4 years. Okay, and tell us about him. I talk about having a strong support system in a team. Well, I do have a strong support system in a family. He's so supportive of all of my activities. I mean, he allows for my crazy innovations, he allows for all of the travels, and when he can, he also makes the time to even travel with me. So, you know, I do get lots of support from him. And what are some of your other hobbies or interests now? I'm a badminton person, so when I get a chance, I go knock the shuttles. I also like football, so I watch a good game of football. And I was very pleased that West Indies won the match, so I'm a cricket fan as well. Can you do the champion dance? No, no. No. And when we have CPL, I'm at the games. Yeah, my husband is a big cricket fan as well. Okay, so, yeah. That's something you guys can enjoy together, right? And if I just want to chill, I drive down to the country, see my dad. Hanover is just such a scenic parish, and I just like to be there. I feel so at home, and it feels like everything else, the burden of the world is off you. So yeah, so that's kind of what I like to do.
Lovely. And speaking about long drives and traveling,
yes,
you do a lot of traveling, and
too much.
You've experienced different cultures. How do other cultures compare to that of Jamaica's?
I want to say that there's really just no comparison. Every culture is unique, but you know what? People ask me all the time, especially with regards to the Caribbean, which is my favorite Caribbean island, and I normally just say Jamaica. And it's not because I'm Jamaican, it's just because our culture is just such a rich culture, and our island is just so beautiful. It has a mix of everything you can think of. If it's the beaches, you have it. If it's the waterfalls, you have it. If it's the mountains, you have it. And when I lived in the Bahamas, I used to get up and literally miss the mountains because there's just no mountains. From that perspective, I really do like Jamaica. I really do believe that we have such a rich culture. I'm a foodie, so I really enjoyed, trying cuisines from other places. So that's one of the things that I do when I travel. I really like to try the local cuisines, try the wines.
Is there anywhere that stands out to you as you say that?
Recently in Malta, I had a good experience when I got a chance to go to our estate and really tour the winery, try some of their wines, and so that was a good experience.
Okay.
Yeah. So things like that, and I try to do that in the different places that I go to, just to kind of get an appreciation for the culture. And I don't like to see places as a tourist. I like to see it the way the locals
do.
Yeah.
Right. If there's one word of advice that you could give to upcoming entrepreneurs, what would it be?
To never limit yourself, to have a dream and dream big, and always see the end game and work towards what that end game is.
Well, this has been a fabulous visit to Uncorked. I'm obsessed with this wine. We had discussed that I'm not really a wine drinker, but this is delicious, and the food was so tasty. So thanks for sharing your chill spot with us.
Thanks, Candy. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed today.
Today we took it easy as we chilled at Uncorked, and I absolutely enjoyed our dining experience whilst getting to know Valerie Grant, another stalwart Jamaican, excelling in her field as the Managing Director at Geotech Vision. Until next week, I'm Candy for Chill Spot. Bye! The wine tastes good for true, no? Yeah. Hereafter, I just give you this big speech about how I don't drink and I don't like wine and a thing, and I taste, I'm like, this is delicious. Yeah. And Valerie, why did you choose Uncorked as your chill spot?
Well, it's in a convenient location. The people here are able to anticipate my needs. They know where to seat me. It happens.
3, 2, 1, standby, cue, action. They don't know when to tell you, how to tell you to start on the show.
Stand by.
I'm going to be my own producer. I'll tell myself when to go. Guys, I'm really not a diva. I did not have a diva moment. I was just kidding, okay? I didn't realize it was recording.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!
Of government rally support for climate resilience at the UN General Assembly. The government of India deepens cooperation with CARICOM. Agriculture in focus in Belize. And Guyanese go to the polls for general elections in March. Welcome to the CARICOM News Time for the week ending Friday, 27th September. I am Tusankin English Francis.
And I am Michelle Nurse with the details of these and other stories. Thanks for joining us.
CARICOM heads of government spent the last week in high-level engagements at the United Nations advocating for support to build sustainable economic resilience in the community. They outlined specific actions that the international community should take to make good on commitments to address climate change and support small island developing states to deal with its adverse impacts. Chairman of CARICOM, the Honorable Alan Chastanet, told world leaders at the UNSG's Climate Action Summit on the 23rd of September that SIDS are the incubators of climate change and should be supported to help the rest of the world figure out how to deal with it. He said that the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development should adopt the Commonwealth Secretariat's established measurement of economic vulnerability. He emphasized the need for a dedicated fund to which SIDS can have quicker and less complicated access to finance to build climate-resilient infrastructure. In that context, he called for debt reclassification.
That how we classify the debt that we're going to incur to invest in this infrastructure cannot go on our books. Because what we may gain in physical climate change resilience, we're now going to lose in economic resilience. The sad reality is that those four things require a pen. A pen for OECD to change its policy. A pen to establish a dedicated fund for the SIDS. A pen to change the governance structures. And a pen to determine how we're going to classify the debt. And time has run out on us.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, in a very cogent address, reminded the UN General Assembly that the Alliance of Small Island Developing States need temperature increase in the global community less than 1.5 degrees to survive.
The science is clear, and the evidence is even clearer, that the lives of our people have been lost and properties abandoned, and these tell the story far better than any speech we can make in this great hall. The AOSIS, the Alliance of Small Island States, needs to keep temperatures increases in this global community to less than 1.5 to stay alive. Not to thrive, but to stay alive. In other words, 2 degrees needs to be taken off the table once and for all.
Her counterpart, Prime Minister Andrew Holness of Jamaica, stressed the need for climate change financing to be channeled where it is most needed.
I close by reiterating the concern of developing countries that the delivery mechanisms for climate finance are still fragmented and slow. The bottlenecks and gaps in the project investment value chain prevent climate finance from getting to where it is most needed. We are encouraged, however, by new and exciting developments, such as the Closing the Investment Gap Initiative and the Climate investment platform, which hold great promise and will expand to meet the investment and technical assistance needs of more developing countries.
The CARICOM chairman also addressed a World Economic Forum discussion on the theme Redesigning Today's Economic Models. His intervention highlighted the extreme climate-related social, environment, and financial risks that the region faced.
Well, most of the small island developing states are facing two things: extinction and being viable. And unfortunately, the extinction part comes first. The final nail in the coffin for us is that we become now uninsurable. So if we don't build the physical resilience to reduce the amount of economic impact and chaos that the storm causes, then we become uninsurable. So the second thing that we're trying to compete against is basically competitiveness on a global basis. And for a lot of the small island developing states, the macro rules of the IMF and the World Bank have unfortunately not been kind to us. Now here's what happens. We have the storms coming. I know what I need to do. I need to slope stabilization, broaden and widen my rivers, put utilities underground, dedicated shelters, coastal restoration programs. But I don't have the money. If I have to go and borrow the money on commercial terms, because the OECD has now classified me as a middle-income country because of my per capita GDP.
Prime Minister Chasney had several other engagements at the United Nations, including a discussion on ECLAC's Debt for Climate Swap initiative with Ms. Alicia Barcena, the Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean. In a message posted on his Facebook page, the chairman said, "We are very encouraged by the commitment of the UN Secretary General to support us in advancing the ECLAC Debt for Climate Adaptation Swap initiative. This initiative will go a long way to not only expand domestic fiscal space, but it will also establish a dedicated SIDS Resilience Fund to finance adaptation projects. We look forward to the support of the international financial institutions and our partners as we continue to work towards this much-needed transformational shift."
India has strengthened its cooperation with CARICOM, granting a $14 million grant for development projects and a line of credit allocation of $150 million for climate resilience. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaffirmed his country's commitment to development in the region when he engaged CARICOM heads of government in the first India-CARICOM summit. The summit took place on the 25th of September in the margins of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Prime Minister Modi spoke of plans to develop a regional center for excellence in information technology in Georgetown, Guyana, and a regional vocational training center in Belize. He also reaffirmed India's commitment to enhancing human resource capacity in the region through specialized training. The meeting agreed that the CARICOM India Joint Commission will continue to develop and implement concrete plans to further advance trade and facilitate diversification in the region. CARICOM Chairman, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet of St. Lucia, noted CARICOM's appreciation for India's continued partnership and cooperation with the community.
On behalf of all my colleagues, when I say that the most important question to ask is how come it took us so long to get together, given our cultural ties, our historical ties, and clearly, as you've outlined, many of the common issues that we have to confront on a global and geopolitical basis. So I am looking forward to a very meaningful discussion on, one, the opportunity that India can offer us in the CARICOM, two, the opportunities that CARICOM can offer India, and three, to talk about some very critical geopolitical issues that hopefully we can find common ground.
Frank discussions are anticipated between the private sector and policymakers at the regional agricultural meetings in Belize. A two-day Regional Planners Forum on Agriculture starts the week of activities on the 30th of September in Belize City. Program Manager for Agriculture at the CARICOM Secretariat, Mr. Sean Baugh, provides some insight into the week of activities.
We're anticipating 7 meetings across the week. Firstly, we're going to have what is the 12th Regional Agricultural Planners Forum. What is that? This year, we're doing it under the theme, capitalizing on the new frontiers in global agriculture. The aim is to have a forum that is more business facilitatory, in the sense that we want to bring together stakeholders from the private sector to link with stakeholders within the public sector. And what do we mean by that? The program has so been developed in a way that we're asking leading private sector firms who are in agribusiness to come and have a frank, open discussion with our policy makers in the agricultural sector. And we're having member states from as far as Belize, where it's been held, to here in Guyana, regional headquarters. And the aim is to outline what has been the successes, what have been the challenges, and what are the recommendations that the private sector are putting forward to our regional heads and our regional governments that can be put in place to achieve this regional trade in agricultural crops, agricultural produce, and value chain items. Now, we've invited entities from Barbados, entities from Jamaica, entities from Belize, entities from Guyana, and entities from Trinidad to meet with all the planners from the Ministries of Agriculture in the region. And from that, we expect to have a solid policy position as to what are the different recommendations, policies that our regional governments need to put in place.
Solid policy decisions are expected to flow from the meetings that will attract participation of about 150 delegates. The Food and Agriculture Organization, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the Technical Center for Cooperation on Agriculture are partnering with the CARICOM Secretariat for the week of activities. Guyanese go to the polls on the 2nd of March 2020. Guyana's President David Granger announced the date in an address to the nation on the 25th of September.
I am pleased to announce that after discussions with the chairman of the Elections Commission and with my cabinet, the earliest possible date for the holding of general and regional elections will be on Monday, the 2nd of March 2020.
The President confirmed the date the following day and pointed out that both the government and the opposition would be required under the Constitution to return to the National Assembly for an extension of the timeline for elections. Massive cleanup efforts continued around Tobago this week after Tropical Storm Karen moved across the southeastern Caribbean. The rains caused widespread flooding and landslides across Trinidad and Tobago. Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines were also on high alert. Tropical storms Jerry, Karen, and Lorenzo are currently spinning across the Atlantic Basin. Trinidad and Tobago's government was also monitoring a mud volcano in central Trinidad and has warned nationals and visitors to stay away from the volcano.
Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris of St. Kitts and Nevis has welcomed the United Nations High-Level Political Declaration on Universal Health Coverage. Prime Minister Harris is the lead head in the CARICOM Quasi-Cabinet on Human Resource, Health and HIV and AIDS. In his presentation to the UN General Assembly, he said that no one should have to skip taking a potentially life-saving scan or other procedure because of the cost. Neither should they have to declare bankruptcy because of an expensive illness. And above all, we believe that equal access to health care is a basic human right. He cited the success of St. Kitts and Nevis in eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis as an example of how commitment and resources can generate success. The World Health Organization's executive director said that the world has 11 years left to make good on sustainable development goals. Universal health coverage, he said, is key to ensuring that that happens.
CARICOM Ministers of Health met on the 30th of September to discuss a number of important issues on the regional health agenda. COSOD officials had their preparatory meeting on the 27th of September to guide the discussions among the Ministers of Health. The meeting was held in Washington, D.C., on the sidelines of the 57th meeting of the Directing Council of the Pan American Health Organization. Tusankin spoke with Dr. Rudolph Cummins, Program Manager for Health Sector Development with the CARICOM Secretariat, and filed this report.
Dr. Cummins said the meeting will provide CARICOM health ministers with an insight of the strategic planning process of regional cooperation in health. They will receive a preliminary report on the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, from 2012 to present to see whether it has achieved its initially identified functions. A consultancy group, which was commissioned to conduct the review, will present the preliminary report. The board of CARPHA has dedicated an afternoon session to digest the report, and its recommendations will be presented to COSOD. Dr. Cummins said the meeting will be informed of the upcoming consultative meeting between the Council for Trade and Economic Development and the Council for Human and Social Development, COSOD, on convergent trade and health issues.
Back in 2007, the heads of government proclaimed the Port of Spain Declaration. Its review 4 years ago showed that there was some implementation deficit, in particular what concerned multi-sectoral actions. And one of the concerns is actually the trade-related issues which negatively affect NCDs. We've had a task force which was prescribed by the heads of government in 2016 at their 37th meeting here in Georgetown, and we have been working to put together two matters, one concerning diets and the other one concerning alcohol. The alcohol one comes from a mandate from COTED, but the diet one comes to some measure from COTED, but also from directions given by the same 37th meeting of heads, as well as the 38th meeting where they refer to childhood obesity, which we are trying to capture through addressing dietary-related issues in trade.
The Ministers of Health will receive for adoption the new Regional Strategic Framework for HIV and AIDS that the Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV and AIDS has just completed. Time will be devoted to looking at the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV as well as measles. The plight of migrants, including matters related to their rights, are also on the agenda of the meeting. The Oncologists and Hematologists Association of the Caribbean has prepared a paper on the treatment of cancer, which it hopes to present as a framework to the COSOD. Dr. Cummins said the Caribbean Cardiologists Association will also interact with CARICOM health ministers in a discussion on the challenges with curbing heart attacks in the region.
We'll have a novel presentation made by a group, the Caribbean Cardiologists Association, which is trying to bring to the attention of the ministers, they've already done so with the Chief Medical Officer, the challenges of curbing the excessive mortality which we have from heart attacks. Our rates of death are about 4 times higher than in the developed world, and it's their view that we can do a lot more to curb that rate. We might not be able to achieve the 8%, which is quite low in the developed world, but we certainly can make a better try.
COSOD will also discuss matters pertaining to triangular cooperation among PAHO, CARICOM, and countries within the hemisphere, including Argentina and Chile. They will also discuss regional representation on governance bodies, including the Global Fund, PAHO, and UNAIDS. CARICOM health ministers are also expected to track the progress and see where governments can further streamline the regulation of pharmaceuticals entering the regional market. Dr. Cummins explains the other issues on the very packed agenda of the 37th COSOD on health.
We are also going to share with the ministers the travelers' health policy for their approval. The document is already in country, and CARF is going to do a presentation on the essential components of the program and essentially what is required for it to find full utilization within member states.
The CARICOM Secretariat marked World Maritime Day 2019 on the 26th of September. The Secretariat mounted an impressive exhibition to raise awareness of the day under the theme Empowering Women in the Maritime Community. In a message to mark the occasion, CARICOM's Assistant Secretary General for Trade and Economic Development, Mr. Joseph Cox, underscored the significance of gender neutrality in the maritime sector.
The theme for World Maritime Day 2019 serves to highlight the important yet underutilized contribution of women within the sector. It also provides an opportunity to raise awareness of the importance of gender equality in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Goal 5 of the SDGs of the UN for Agenda 2030 aims to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Shipping has traditionally been a male-dominated industry, and the same applies to many of the associated jobs and professions in the maritime community. It has been recorded that while 1.5 million seafarers daily serve on a worldwide fleet of more than 100,000 ships, it is estimated that women comprise 2% of the world's maritime workforce.
He said that CARICOM remains committed to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals for gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls, particularly in the maritime industry.
For more stories, you can visit the CARICOM news site at today.caricom.org or the CARICOM website at caricom.org.
Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got a chance to do CXCR graduated from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goals.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, you know, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them, teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, you know, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The
think little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Dental Place Cosmetic Spa to talk to Dr. Robinson about oral piercings and the growing trend of fashionable braces. Dr. Robinson, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So talk to us about the Dental Place Cosmetic Spa. How did you get started?
I graduated at the University of Virginia 12 years ago. My practice started in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 10 years ago. I decided to expand that practice in this facility, so we've been here for about 2 years. I'm also an adjunct lecturer at the University of Technology. We graduated our first set of dentists here on this island last year, so we're excited about that. So being here at the office, I have an opportunity to introduce to my patients what I do cosmetically in Florida here. So I'm really excited that you invited me to speak to you about oral piercings, and especially the new trend in fashion braces, which are clearly not cosmetic.
All right, so you don't do piercings here,
No.
but I'm sure you have a whole heap of knowledge on piercings.
Yes, I do. I can speak on the impact of oral piercings on your oral health, but it's not something that we advocate or encourage.
Why shouldn't I get an oral piercing? I mean, everyone has them. It seems fashionable. Why not?
My job is to educate you on the impact on your overall health. The decision you make is purely yours. Oral piercings are, it's a body art, you know. It's an expression of one's individuality. Understandably so, it goes back to centuries, you know, where you find preserved bodies with oral piercings. It was a sign of ownership during times of slavery. So oral piercing has gone back for centuries. I don't see it going anywhere. Persons will continue to do it. However, without a basis, most of the persons that I speak to, it's done more because it's an expression of who they are, as opposed to just doing it because it's cool. Patients who are wearing tongue bars or persons that I know with it, they speak of increased sexual pleasures. To each his own, and it's a personal thing for them. So that's as much as I can say about that outside of an individual expressing themselves through body art. What we find with oral piercings is amongst younger persons, it is seen as a harmless way to express themselves. It's not seen as permanent as a tattoo or piercing of the ear. Because inside the mouth, especially the tongue, it is so highly vascularized. The minute you remove the tongue bar, it heals. So they see it as a way to get a piercing, mommy and daddy won't know about it, or my employer doesn't know about it. It's not even an issue of, in the workplace, it being known. It impedes your speech, it affects swallowing, and there are a range of risk factors that goes with having oral jewelers in your mouth. And those would be, for example, at the time when the piercing is done, the concern is for prolonged bleeding, obviously because your mouth is highly vascularized, meaning there are lots of blood vessels in that area. Infections, pain, and swelling. So once you're healed, there's still concern, right? Concerns would be cracking your teeth. The tongue actually seems to be the most common place for oral piercings, and second to that would be the lips. So here's fracturing of the teeth, receding gums, buildup of plaques in the mouth, and we know that the buildup of plaques will lead to gums being infected, which leads to bone loss, and which leads to loss of teeth. Persons who are doing this, youthful persons, are not aware of the risk factors. So I find it important to communicate what I can on risk and educate. I don't think that we are as informed as a public as to the consequences to some of these decisions that we are making. And so the tendency is to do it for fashion, and dentistry by itself is very costly. I know that because I have patients who struggle to do basic stuff, such as regular cleanings and fillings. So it disturbs me when out of fashion you do piercings and then you end up down a road or path where you lose your teeth, and it's depressing.
When we return, we delve a little more into the effects of oral piercing. And still to come, what are fashion braces?
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to The Good Life. This week we are discussing the effects of oral piercings and fashion braces with Dr. Sharon Robinson from the Dental Place Cosmetic Spa. So you've mentioned tongue piercings and lip piercings, but I know a lot of people are getting their cheeks pierced. Are these considered oral piercings, and are they as harmful as a tongue piercing or a lip piercing?
Yes, cheek piercing is also considered oral piercing because it extends from the inside of the mouth to the outside. It does carry equal risks as the tongue ring or bar and the lip jewelry.
Dr. Robinson says most persons only focus on the look of piercings after it is done. However, she emphasizes a major precaution that should help persons to at least stop and make the best decision.
Basically, from the onset, walking into a facility that's not regulated, we don't know how the instruments being used are being sterilized, if at all. So there are concerns for cross-contamination. The National Institute of Health has identified oral piercings as a risk factor in transmitting some hepatitis viruses. There is the concern for endocarditis. Contaminated instruments or health concerns that you would have could create a situation where bacteria in your mouth now has the opportunity to enter your bloodstream. Once it's there, these bacteria can attach themselves to heart vessels. That's called endocarditis, and that can be a very serious complication. There is just too much, when a patient comes in to see the dentist, we go through a medical history for a reason. We don't know that these things are being done in these facilities because there are patients who say they're diabetic or they have some underlying medical problems that are not shared, and the persons who are doing the piercings are not trained to handle that. So in terms of maintenance, there's no maintenance once you've had your piercing. There's no follow-up. So you still have to get your dentist to help to manage what's happening.
I know you don't advocate getting oral piercings, but let's just say I'm all about that life and I'm gonna get one. What advice are you gonna give those people that are still gonna go out and get an oral piercing? What are some things that I need to keep in mind?
Get with your dentist, get with the dental hygienist, stay on top of your checkups. You will be informed on the safety precautions that should be in place. You will receive the professional help that you need for your oral care, for hygiene. And it's very important to minimize the consequences and the risk factors that are there. So if you already have it, hey, that's fine. We're here. Do not stay away. Let us help you to manage that. I can't speak of what's going on in these facilities, if the things are being cleaned or not. And there's just too much. I have a lot of respect for things that I cannot see, bacteria and viruses. So it's so important for me to inform the public that they have a responsibility for their own health, and the choices that they make will have consequences. If they're not properly informed, there will be dire consequences and more costly as well.
Let's say I put in a tongue ring and it chips a tooth and I have to come in and get that repaired. How much money am I looking at for that?
That's a good question. First, we have to, how big a chip is it? It could go from just a filling to having a root canal and a crown. So if it's a small chip, we may be able to just fill the tooth to restore it. If it's a huge chip, which has now involved the canal, we have to remove the nerves, which is a root canal, and we have to restore the tooth with a crown. That gets very costly. So there it is, an inexpensive, fashionable decision to a decision here. From the top of my head, you'd be looking at about $180,000 to replace or to restore that on the high scale if you're doing a root canal and a crown. Filling anywhere from about $8,000 to $20,000 Jamaican dollars.
Underlying problems without symptoms is usually the reason most oral piercing infections get out of control. Dr. Robinson re-emphasizes the importance of consulting with a dentist.
The mouth, in its healthiest form, is loaded with bacteria, in its healthiest form. So imagine in a case where you're not getting the regular maintenance that you need. For persons who have lots of cavities or abscess teeth, or their gums are unhealthy from having a lot of buildup on their teeth, the level of bacteria in your mouth is that much more. So therefore, with your mouth loaded with bacteria, now you're at higher risk for infections. For persons with oral piercings, swelling around the areas or the area where the piercing is, if there is any redness, pain, you should get it attended to, because it could be a sign that there is something else going on. That's usually the first sign of an infection, and you don't want it to try to fix it on your own. So a cheek jewelry can now wreak havoc because it creates an environment for bacteria to not just adhere to the metal itself, and we'll talk about that later. These metals provide a safe haven for them to adhere to and create further problems. So you don't want to do that. So get the help that you need when you start seeing that something isn't right, and either remove it, heal, put it back, or, I mean, I will say just take it out or don't pierce it all. But if it's there and you have to, we'd have to take measures to remove it, get you healed, and if you have to and choose to do it again, it's up to you.
We've just talked to Dr. Sharon Robinson about oral piercings, but there's more. We'll be right back.
DamnGoodBeats.com.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Dr. Sharon Robinson, and we've covered a lot of ground talking about oral piercings, but now it's time to discuss fashionable braces. What are they and who's getting them? So what are braces to begin with?
Braces are devices used in dentistry by orthodontists who are specialists in our field. They are used to align and straighten teeth as it relates to your bite, and of course improve your overall oral health as it relates to that. The decision on the kind of braces that an individual will have will be based on an analysis that is performed by the orthodontist. So there could be metal and ceramic, there could be all metal, there could be all ceramic, there could be just Invisalign that is done.
Dr. Robinson, we've established what braces are. Let's talk about fashionable braces. What are fashionable braces and why are they considered fashionable?
Fashionable braces as the public perceives it. I must say this growing trend, I find it somewhat disturbing for different reasons. Just similar to oral piercing, that one would subject themselves to receiving treatment by persons who do not have knowledge or proper training to place these devices. So there is talk of this trend of persons who are receiving braces on their teeth by someone who is not a dentist, not trained in the field. Are these things sterilized? Where do they come from? Is there maintenance? I don't know what is being done. The little I know of this trend at this point is the brackets are on the teeth, but not engaged. Meaning, when brackets are placed on the teeth, there are wires that act as tracks for forces to be applied over time so that teeth can be shifted. All right? Continuous force over time. What I'm learning of this practice is that part of it is not happening. So the brackets are just on the teeth with pretty bands, and patients are loving that. Here's a problem with that. By itself, just having these brackets on creates an environment where you're at higher risk for cavities, a higher risk for poor gum health. The adherence of bacteria to these metals, we talked about that with oral jewelry. You see that with brackets. It's more challenging for those who are wearing braces to clean it. And any persons you know, have you worn braces before? There tend to be a lot more buildup on these braces because they're metals or ceramics. So more cleaning has to be done. The longer these buildups are on, you run the risk of getting cavities and gum problems. It's more costly to fix these problems than to go to someone who's not trained to do it in the first place in the name of fashion. I've had to remove devices such as these from persons who would just wear it, but they can't afford anything else. What happens? You remove these brackets, there are cavities on teeth. The gums are in poor health because of the inflammatory process that starts in the mouth. And teeth will easily shift because there's no wire that's aligning it. So these are just brackets that are being put in your mouth. I don't know what it's made of. I don't know where they come from. But I find it disturbing that persons are doing that. And dentistry is very costly.
What I'm trying to understand is when they do get these fashionable braces, the intention was to straighten the teeth to fix an issue, or was the intention to make it appear that they had braces?
There are different reasons why we seek out cosmetic services.
Okay, so
there are those who need it, and there are those who just want to enhance, just a little extra. On the outside, when someone wears braces, you see a beautiful smile after. Teeth are straight, perfect. There are those patients who cannot chew properly. There are those patients who have other problems that are more severe who are required to get braces for that reason. It has nothing to do with cosmetics. The benefit of cosmetics is like the bonus, all right? So for those persons, it's almost like an insult, because people want the end result, but the proper planning does not go in place for that to happen. As dentists or any medical clinician, if we are attempting to do a cosmetic procedure on a patient, the first order of business is to begin with the end in mind. Hence, time is spent during the treatment planning process, understanding why the patient is doing it, what their needs are, and all that plays a vital role. This fashion trend, I am not sure what is driving that, except to say there are persons who just like the look of braces, because if you are not trained to use these devices, you cannot straighten teeth. You can't. It is such a technical process. These orthodontists are trained for at least 3 years after receiving their dental degrees and license. I find it disturbing that persons in the public will do that. Now, my only answer to the reason is lack of information, or they're just not aware. I do not know the cost for fashion braces. I just know that I hear numbers that of it being anywhere from less than $20,000 to maybe $50,000. That's, yeah. So I don't know what it's made of. I don't know how they get it. You have to have a dental license to procure some of these items that are used in dentistry. So I don't know where they're coming from or what it's made of, and it concerns me because I don't know how it's being done, and the persons who are getting it, in the end, it's going to cost them more. Cost, for example, you lose your teeth. Gee, there's a lot of value in that, because now your options would be dental implants. Can you afford that? $3,000 per tooth, approximately, US. Or wearing partials and dentures. You don't want to wear partials and dentures after making a choice like that, because it's my patients who are wearing dentures, they don't like them, but they have to wear it for function so they can chew properly, but the desire is there at some point, I'm getting out of these things. So yes, they need to not do it. Keep your teeth the way they are. It's too costly to put these braces on to end up losing value of what you have now, because you can't afford implants and getting dentures. Even though it may be affordable to get dentures, the quality of life is different. Patients who wear dentures will tell you kissing is not the same. Food does not taste the same, because these plates cover taste buds, you know. So it's not a pleasant thing, you know. I get to baby my patients and take them through the process of it, but it's not something you want to desire.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. I'm sure our viewers have learned a whole lot in regards to oral piercings and fashionable braces.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
All right, so there you have it, guys. It's costly to keep up with these beauty trends. Maybe you should think twice before getting an oral piercing and before putting in fashionable braces. I've been your host of The Good Life, Amita Prasad Webb, and check us out next week.
current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I'm Butch Hendrickson. You're watching BATV, serious about business.
Just as society has evolved over time, our food system has also evolved into a global system of immense size and complexity. Today, food scientists have assisted in supplying a wide range of scientific knowledge to maintain better food safety, high food quality, high food content, and contributing to healthier people everywhere. This week, we explore the field of food science on Career Moves.
Hi, I'm Dr. Andre Gordon, Managing Director of Technological Solutions Limited and a food scientist. Food science is a multidisciplinary science that deals with everything that has to do with the production, preparation, and delivery of food, all kinds of food, from seafoods, agricultural items, processed foods, beverages, alcoholic drinks, everything. So food science is really the aggregation of all of those areas that has allowed mankind to be able to produce and deliver food to feed the world. Safe and high quality food. Well, because of the wide range of areas, food science is basically structured into food chemistry, food microbiology, food engineering or food processing, sensory sciences, that is how do you measure foods, and nutrition falls under food science. There's an area of nutrition that falls under food science as well. But essentially, what a food scientist does depends on which area they have chosen to specialize in. At Technological Solutions Limited, actually, we cover all of the areas. And having come from a developing country and having seen the challenges that we had, I probably chose the unique option of covering a wide variety of the areas. Typically in our business, food scientists choose one particular area and specialize. Now, when you talk about food science, it really is split into food technology and food science. A food technologist is somebody who has studied the area of food science, probably up to the level of getting a first degree and being a practitioner working in the industry. That is a food technologist. A food scientist, like any other scientist, is somebody who would have gone on to graduate studies in either a master's or a PhD. In my case, I have 3 degrees, a first degree, a master's, and a PhD. My PhD is what is in food science with, at the time, a focus on food processing. So it covers all areas of processing. My undergraduate degree was 3 years. My master's I did in 2 years, 2.5 years, and I was fortunate at the time to finish my PhD in 3 years. Graduated with distinction from the University of Guelph. By the time I was finished and everything was wrapped up, I think we did 12 publications from my PhD work. Throughout our entire food industry, you have persons, if we look at baking, there are food scientists who work in the baking industry, but there are those who specialize in baking technology. So they look at how do I get the best out of a baking process. There are those who specialize in product development. those who specialize in food chemistry, so they just work in the chemistry area. Those who specialize in microbiology. There are some that specialize in nutrition. And all of this we're just talking about baking. Now the person who has a specialty in baking may not be able to transfer that necessarily to a brewing industry, like a Red Stripe or a distillery like a Ray & Nephew, because those require different sets of knowledge, different sets of skills. And this is where a food scientist or an experienced technologist should be able to learn new things and move across industries. In North America, that tends not to be the case. If you're in baking, you stay in baking for all your life. That's how it works. If you're in the brewing or distilling, most people stay like that. Now you're seeing some cross-industry movement, but these tend to be at the scientist level or very experienced technologists who may specialize, for example, in product development. One area is sensory measurement. That is, how do you take a consumer's demand or consumer's need, translate that into technical terms, make that into a product that is going to be successful. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. Something we have done exceptionally well over the years we've been in business. I have a lot of things that I have to do as regards my company's business, which are strictly business oriented, finance, making sure that we have proper planning in place, all of the things that you do when you have to run a company. Some nitty-gritty things like making sure all the bills are paid, that you collect the money, that you create products that your clients want, that you try to keep them updated with what is happening. One of the things that we at TSL are well known for is being at the cutting edge of what is happening in the industry. We have a lot of associates and colleagues overseas. We stay up to date with what is happening and tend to know in advance of trends. We've always been market leaders, which is a benefit, but sometimes it creates tensions because a lot of the things you are saying and advising people to do, nobody else in the rest of the Caribbean even knows about, and or in Jamaica. And so often you appear to be conflicting with what people are saying locally. You're saying that is not the way to go, that is today and yesterday, but tomorrow they're going to be asking you to do something else. So don't focus on today and yesterday, prepare for tomorrow. This is what we have been doing.
Audits play a key role in verifying proper food safety practices in the food industry. Dr. Gordon weighs in.
We haven't even spoken about auditing. Auditing is an entire area of the food industry, just like financial auditing, where there are myriad different kinds of audits that require different kinds of training. Specialize in, for example, food service audits, or looking at a process audit. How efficient is this process? Looking at a food safety audit or a quality systems audit. And this is just auditing, right? So just in the quality assurance area or the food safety area, there are a myriad of jobs, and this is an exploding area today. The best food scientists really know what they're talking about, and also know what they don't know, and don't hesitate to say, that's not my area of expertise, I don't know.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Food scientist, I don't think I would, cause I don't know much about it. And as far as tasting go, me eat a patty and the next man say, boy, the patty salt, or the patty is fresh, or the patty what have you. I just taste like a normal patty to me.
Yeah, because it would have been great, you know, for Rasta and for Jamaica and for the world, you know. Yeah, so I would have definitely consider that, you know.
I didn't do the sciences in school. I'm a business person. I don't know what these food sciences people do, and I'm not about it.
Not many persons you see venturing in that area. To me, it's just boring. The government can hardly find pretty much funds to pay people for popular careers, much as food scientists. So no, I wouldn't venture in that area though.
Well, personally, no. I like what I do right now, but if other persons find, I mean, everybody has their own calling.
I want to be a scientist, but this one's so special to me that I would like to put this in my thought.
I'd probably consider being a food scientist, yes, because I love food. I like to play around with food, so yeah. And I mean, I hear there's a lot of money in it, so definitely.
A career of a food scientist? No, because I don't really know anything about it, honestly. That's my point.
Feeding a global population can sometimes create challenges, especially with added factors.
We're having challenges with global warming. So one of the most critical things is going to be food supply. Not just adequacy of food supply, which is a major challenge that is faced in several developing countries, in Asia, in areas of sub-Saharan Africa and elsewhere, but even within developed countries, you have lots of areas where people have issues with food. In Jamaica and the Caribbean, we have serious issues with the percentage of what is produced that actually ends up being consumable. We've had high, what they call post-harvest losses for many years. That really is what drove me into the area of food science. I came to food science through microbiology, to use scientific knowledge from multiple areas to solve problems.
Not many people even like to hear the word science, but Dr. Gordon was quite passionate about pursuing the sciences.
I liked science. First, I wanted to do medicine, like many people. It's probably a little bit different now because there are more options and there are lots of other. But I wanted to do medicine. I was fascinated with that. So I chose a course that would take me there. When I was doing my first degree I did at University of the West Indies, majoring in biochemistry with a minor. I was one of the first group of students to do what was called VEN, Elements of Food Chemistry was the program. So that was the first food-based program that University of the West Indies offered. Having started on that program, I realized the potential between that and biochemistry to address many of the issues that we had, funnily enough at the time, with trade, trying to export into markets and trying to deal with issues of having a lot of losses in the agricultural sector, develop new products and that kind of thing. Those challenges remain today, unfortunately. But that was what really drove me to look at that area. And then by second year or so, I did a couple projects and I realized that I really liked this thing and decided medicine wouldn't be it for me. I wanted to become a food scientist. They had no programs available in the Caribbean. So I chose to do a master's instead, focusing on food microbiology in the area of biochemistry. And during that program, did groundbreaking work. My supervisor at the time is Professor Ahmad, who is now, I think, retired from the university. Had just come to Jamaica. He had no horizon set for him. There was no limitation. And so we were able to do a lot of things that people would say you can't do in developing countries. We started doing work with plasmid isolation, that's isolating the genetic material from bacteria, even before they started in many places in the US and Canada, because he had just come from somewhere where this was being done. So we started doing this in Jamaica and published work on it from in the mid-80s. People are not aware of this. So from that time, I got introduced to really high-level science. But I realized that microbiology alone wouldn't address the issues. I was getting involved in discussions with trade and agriculture and realized that we needed to be able to pull all the skills together to be able to produce the foods that we wanted to feed ourselves and also be able to export. Because it was clear that unless we were able to export, we wouldn't be able to earn our way. This was in the early 80s. At that time, I became aware that Ackes had been banned from the US market. I can be very specific, 1983, I found out about this and thought it would be really useful to Jamaica if I could make a contribution in solving that problem. So I started a master's program, completed it in microbiology, and during that period applied to several universities, including Cornell, that accepted me, and the University of Guelph in Canada. I applied for a Canadian Commonwealth Scholarship. Truth is, I applied to Cornell, was accepted, and I couldn't go. Because I wasn't able, the scholarship, I was able to get a scholarship, but it wasn't able to cover the full cost. The Canadians offered me a scholarship, full scholarship, a Commonwealth scholarship to the University of Guelph or McGill. I chose to go to Guelph, and that's how I ended up doing a PhD at the University of Guelph in food sciences. Turned out to be quite an interesting decision because Guelph is, at the time, they were an up-and-coming, very good university. Now they're one of the top universities in food science, and a lot of the people that made it that way were coming at the time I was there. So we had cutting-edge information right across the spectrum, and I was able not just to focus on processing, which was my main area, but on all of the other areas: nutrition, engineering, processing, chemistry, microbiology, all of the platform areas, sensory measurement. I think I did I was required to do 4 courses. I think I did somewhere about 14 or 16 courses just to make sure, and then short courses in dairy production, in fruit and vegetable processing, meat processing, and so on. So that wide exposure and practical application helped to allow me to create what is today Technological Solutions Limited. Before then, though, I had already developed a product that was actually sold, exported to the Cayman Islands, I understand, by Jamaica Broilers, a pepper trim product. This was 1984, I think. And I had been working with Grace Kennedy in their meat plant before I went to do the PhD, because I went to work having finished my master's before going on to do the PhD. So I had been working in product development, so I had a very good idea of what was required, and that is important because the practical knowledge helps you to better define what is going to be useful going forward, as against just going straight from school, doing all of the degrees, for which there's a benefit, but quite often you don't understand what is actually required in the working world until you come out.
In pursuit of being the best at anything, there are certain skills that are needed, and we hear from Dr. Gordon the ones required for a food scientist.
Critical amongst all of this is dedication to, lawyers talk about dedication to your craft, and the really good lawyers, you can see, really do the research and prepare. Same is required of a doctor. The food scientist is no different. The best food scientists really know what they're talking about, and also know what they don't know, and don't hesitate to say, that's not my area of expertise, I don't know. I may be able to recommend people who can give you that information. This is very important, because one of the challenges we've had throughout the Caribbean and in science in general is that people think from you're a scientist you know everything. once you name doctor or you have a PhD, you know everything. That is far from the truth. There are many people with PhDs who have worked hard for their PhDs and they have it. But, you know, it doesn't mean that they know everything. And so what we have to be careful of is we don't become what you call, you know, they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. This is something we say all the time. We need to make sure that when we say something, we have done the research and it is factual. So the major characteristic is the ability to, the willingness to work hard, the willingness to be true to knowledge, to research, and be able to think creatively. And also understand that this is not ivory tower science. This is science that has an application. It's going to help somebody to do something. It's a very high demand area. The demographics have changed significantly. When I studied, you know, most of the persons doing this would have come from the developed countries. Now a large number of persons, immigrants and others from developing countries, are the people you see.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
In Jamaica, there is still a gap to be filled in our universities if one wants to become a food scientist, as most courses needed aren't offered.
So the University of the West Indies in particular has responded and is trying to offer some of the programs. The truth of the matter is though that they have had to bring people in from overseas to help lecture on that program, largely because the skills are so specialized and we don't have the people here. So if you're going to address a lot of those gaps, most likely you're going to have to go overseas to get the knowledge at the master's and the PhD level, which you need if you're really going to make a difference, you know, in the future. It is an area in which, particularly in the United States, Canada, the European Union, and the developed countries, they actually can't get enough graduates. It's a very high demand area. The demographics have changed significantly. When I studied, you know, most of the persons doing this would have come from the developed countries. Now a large number of persons, immigrants and others from developing countries, are the people you see. Lots of people from you know, Latin America, lots of people from Asia are amongst the both now professors and the attendees. So job security, particularly in North America, is good. Even in the Caribbean, I expect in the next 5 to 10 years, even as we speak now, there are companies looking for persons with the expertise.
If you're considering a change in career or looking to study food science, you may just be at an advantage.
Absolutely, there is a market. We need more people with more specialized skills. Remember I mentioned the specialized areas. We don't have enough microbiologists. We don't have very many food engineers. We don't have very many people who specialize in the immunological side of food. We don't have very many people who specialize in food chemistry, in enzymology, plant diseases, diseases caused by insects. We do have people, but not enough. And in many cases, they're not out there working in an applied setting, right? Certainly not in the private sector. And where you're going is, if you're going to set up a big operation, you need those skills. So either you're going to bring them in from overseas, or somebody here is going to be able to offer them. Job outlook is very good. It varies. A food scientist, I suppose, entry level in the US, I can talk about the US, probably earn somewhere between 40 to 50,000 US dollars, which is, if you know the US salary scales, that's that's fairly significant. A food scientist with 5 years experience would probably be earning somewhere around 70, 80,000 US to, depending on what they're doing, 100, somewhere there, it depends. Food scientists at the top of the scale earn 200,000, 180, 200, 250,000 as vice president of research or whatever it is. So it's food scientists at the top of their business make more money than doctors in the US, on average, the average doctor. It's a very high skilled area with high demand. So it is a good profession to look at if you're looking to work overseas. Unfortunately, in the Caribbean, we don't value the skills the same.
Dr. Gordon leaves us with some tips on getting ahead in the field.
You have to be dedicated. You have to be dedicated. You have to be willing to work really hard. So if you do it right, within 5 to 7 years, you can be very successful. But you have to be willing to work hard. You have to be dedicated to excellence. You have to understand what you know and what you don't know and be honest about it. And you have to deliver, consistently deliver at the highest level. If you're willing to do that, you can be extremely successful in this field because the demand is there.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Avio brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields